All right, Marvel fans, let's talk about Daredevil, Born Again, Episode 5. Because this one tested my patience. We're 5 episodes deep, and Matt Murdock is still trying to convince himself he's done with Daredevil. Meanwhile, Fisk is out there, moving chess pieces, and we're stuck watching a bank heist that should have been thrilling, but instead feels like a side quest that no one asked for. But hey, it's not all bad. We got an unexpected MCU cameo, some solid action, and well, we need to talk about this. So stick around, because we're about to break down everything you need to know about this frustratingly uneven episode. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our deep dives into Daredevil, Born Again and beyond. Matt meets the MCU's best dad. Let's kick things off with the best part of this episode, Yusuf Khan. That's right, Kamala Khan's dad, played by the always charming Mohan Kapoor, makes an appearance. And honestly, he steals the scene. Matt Murdock heads to the bank, strapped for cash as usual, hoping to get a loan. And who does he meet? None other than Yusuf, the assistant manager, who immediately launches into a heartwarming monologue about his daughter. Classic MCU dad energy. Now, I get it. Some of these MCU connections can feel forced, but Yusuf is one of those characters that just works. He's warm, he's funny, and for a brief moment, this episode had real charm. Plus, the mention of Kamala being in California, that's not a throwaway line. We know she's recruiting young Avengers. Could she be heading to San Francisco next to find Cassie Lang? The breadcrumbs are there, folks. But unfortunately, before we can even process that, things take a turn. Because of course, a normal bank visit in Hell's Kitchen just isn't an option. A bank heist that should have been more exciting. This episode had the setup for an intense, nerve-wracking hostage situation. But what we got felt off. Our villain of the week, Devlin, storms in with his crew looking for a diamond hidden in a safety deposit box. And of course, he immediately singles out Matt, throwing out insults about his blindness and his career as a lawyer. Because why not? But here's the problem. This entire sequence drags. We spend way too much time on pointless hostage negotiations, especially between Devlin and Detective Angie Kim. And don't even get me started on that painfully awkward, tell me a joke moment. It just goes on and on. Like, I get that they're trying to make Devlin seem unhinged, but it doesn't land. It just makes the pacing feel sluggish. And when you're doing a bank heist episode, slow pacing is the last thing you want. Matt's superhero instincts kick in. Sort of are. Now here's where things should have picked up. Matt Murdock might be done with Daredevil, at least in his mind. But when people are in danger, he can't just sit back. He teams up with Yusuf to stall the robbers. And for a second you think, okay, this is where it gets good. But even this part feels repetitive. We've seen Matt's enhanced hearing used in brilliant ways before, but this time, it's starting to feel like a gimmick. The dramatic zoom-ins, the super listening effect, it's lost its impact. And then when Matt finally decides to fight back, he does something weird. He puts on a random mask. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a good Daredevil fight scene. But why the mask? He's still wearing the same clothes. Everyone knows he's Matt Murdock. It doesn't do anything except remind us that we're still waiting for him to fully embrace Daredevil again. It just doesn't add up. Does this episode even matter? And now we get to the real issue. Does this episode even matter? We're at the halfway point of Daredevil, Born Again, and we've been teased with some big storylines. A rogue police cult, a serial killer turning victims into art, and Wilson Fisk making a major power move. But does episode 5 explore any of that? Nope. Instead, we get a filler episode that barely nudges Matt's arc forward. And that's frustrating, because Born Again started strong. The first episode made some bold choices, but if it keeps throwing in detours like this, it risks losing all that momentum. We need progression, not distractions. This episode could have been skipped entirely, and you wouldn't have missed much. And that's a problem. So what do you guys think? Was this episode just filler? Or did it add something valuable to Matt's story? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying these breakdowns, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more Daredevil and Marvel content coming your way. Episode 5 wasn't a total disaster. Yusuf Khan was a highlight, and the action had its moments. But at the end of the day, Daredevil, Born Again needs to focus on its main story. We're running out of time, and we need to see Matt truly born again. Here's hoping Episode 6 puts things back on track. Until next time, stay tuned, stay hyped, and I'll see you in the next video.